Let's talk about something that I think will very much interest you, Lord, and that's the reception of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure of Diamonds Unbreakable live-action film, directed by Takashi Miike. We knew that they had plans to do like a trilogy of these films, but the reception of the first film so far in the box office in Japan is just not great. It's actually very mediocre, and a lot of critics and insiders are saying because of the poor performance, they might not be able to make a major film franchise, at least not at this time. So that's like very disheartening to see, because of course it'd be cool if like you got a franchise, got more sequels. People are mixed on like the actual quality of the film. Some people don't like it, but other people say that they think it was a very good adaptation. The film plays up like the horror vibe of the series more so than the comedy vibe. So that is a point of contention for a lot of people. I don't know really how this is going to turn out because the box office numbers are not very good for, what it should be. They might not make sequels to this, but I would like to see the film, so I hope like we still get it over here, like someone decides to license it. But it might be all we get for JoJo live action for a while.
Who's supposed to be the main villain of this film? Like, is it just Akira Otoshi, or...?
No, I don't think Akira Otoshi is the villain. I think it's Angelo.
Oh, they just made Angelo the villain?
Yeah, they just made Angelo the villain and expanded upon the Nijima brothers' roles.
Huh.
I was actually really looking forward to to seeing this movie, because from all the trailers and a lot of the promotional material, it actually didn't look terrible, and I actually wasn't cringing at the CG effects. I actually thought those looked pretty well handled.
Yeah, they put up the first 13 minutes of the film on Warner Bros. Japan's official YouTube account, and there is a scene showing them use the sands, Josuke and Jotaro fighting. And yeah, the CG looks about as well as you'd expect, and it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty okay. I think the filmmaking, like just the way things are shot and the color tone, it, sells how the CG stands look. So I think the filmmaking is overall pretty fine. But I don't know, it's just, I guess some people in Japan were completely against the idea of JoJo live action, and that's why I didn't go see the movie. Or competition for the film by other live action films has just buried it. Like, it opened the same weekend as the Tokyo Ghoul film.
Oh,
and,
God.
Yeah, that's more successful. The Gintama film is still running, and that had great reception.
That's been dominating as far as I can tell.
Yeah, so I guess it just came out at a bad time, maybe. The market's oversaturated right now, and this fell off.
Part of me is wondering if they had instead, maybe adapted Part 3, if it would have done better. Because, I get why they went with Part 4, because that was the most recent thing that David Productions adapted, so it still has buzz. But with your casual Japanese filmgoer, would they really be interested in Diamond is Unbreakable?
It's like the second most popular part, so...
Well, that's Part 5.
Either way, it's JoJo's, so you'd think that there'd be some audience for it.
It makes me kind of sad that this didn't do well, especially when the film looked like it had all of the right ingredients to be successful. The fact that they got somebody like Miike to direct this movie. I haven't seen any of his movies, but from what I had researched about the director and, a lot of his works, he seemed like the perfect guy to bring this kind of series to life.
Yeah, he's a great action director, but maybe his sensibilities are just too dark and people are looking for something a little more lighthearted. I'm not really sure.
I mean, because, the villain of Part 4 is a serial killer who collects women's hands, but I mean, Part 4 is still pretty light in tone throughout most of it. I wouldn't be surprised if the move to make this live-action movie a darker kind of thing is probably maybe what turns off probably a lot of the hardcore fans, probably.
Maybe they should have definitely tried to go a bit more lighthearted. Because, Part 4 is not really dark. It has its very violent moments, but it's never, trying to feel, horrifying, I feel.
Yeah. Well, in either case, we have to wait and see the movie for ourselves to really judge it.
Yeah.
But it's just a shame that it is not doing as well as, we would have hoped, and they might not make sequels. Because I was more interested in, what they do with Yoshikage Kira, and especially later stuff. Maybe that's also just a reason why it wasn't exciting to people. I mean, Angelo is the main villain.
Do people really care about Angelo?
He was out of the way in the second episode. Yeah.
So. Like, if you're gonna go with the villain, it kind of would make more sense to go with either Akira Toishi for the first film, or just have all 3 films be about Kira.
Yeah, they probably should have either just gone with Akira or gone with Kira.
Like, when they initially announced live-action films, I was assuming they were going to have, the first villain be Akira Toishi, and then have 2 films focused on Kira.
Yeah.
I mean, Angelo's stand power was pretty formidable from what I remember. He was the water stand guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
That fight was good. It's just that as a villain, he would not be up there as one of the better JoJo villains.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He was out of the way in the manga in 5 chapters.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the anime, it's 2 episodes. So
compared to even a smaller sub-villain like Akira, Akira actually has a fan base.
Yeah.
Angelo doesn't really have a fan base.
They include Akira Toishi in the fighting games. They don't include Angelo in the fighting games. And Akira Toishi does not do much. He does not do anything after they fight him that one time.
Yeah. But he's still popular.
I totally agree that Angela as a villain is pretty lacking, and they probably shouldn't have made him the main villain of this first movie, but I still can't imagine that the actual fight between him and Josuke and Jotaro, I imagine that fight is at least handled well in the movies, and I'd like to see how that looks. I'm sure at least that fight is exciting to watch, but yeah, I do agree that making him the main villain, it's just kind of okay, what do we do with this guy?